So if you've ever wanted to be a model, this is a video where I'm going to talk to a professional model, one that actually creates their own content, one that actually's got brand sponsorship deals, and also they from New York, top of the food chain, you dig? So Alana is going to be one of the first models I've ever interviewed. I'm interested in connecting with more models. That's why I'm putting out this episode. So if you know any, make sure you share it to them. And if you don't know me, my name's Terrence Harris. I created this channel for what I've created called the creative community, but I've more so, built that so that we could all come together and be an asset to one another as entrepreneurs. So this is my new episode with Alana about modeling and the creative entrepreneurship journey. What's up?
Sometimes, honestly, I say all that to say that some people, no matter how much they claim they on the same type of time as you, they got so much other stuff that's going on that literally prevents them. It's like being the anti-thesis. It's the anti-matter. The people that's designed to go up against you to kind of test if you really want your shit.
Yo, that's really it though, right? They testing, it's a test.
And honestly, some people, they going through their own demons. So, no matter how much you try to save them, no matter how much you try to put out and really break bread for the both of us, you going to destruct us both. Because you just caught up in your shit that's not going to be able to elevate us. So some people just not ready.
Now you just opened me up because like you said, I ended up recognizing in my own endeavors, as I was telling you a little bit when the camera went, right? About my own experience having a partnership and just that thing going in a different direction. But as I started in that isolation, in that that abandonment that had occurred, I started recognizing how powerful I was and what I was willing and able to carry. And, it started opening up the idea of what I was capable of and stuff. So it's like God really revealed oh yeah, you thought that was the plan, but that's just a man.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? This is the plan, right? You feel me? So now I'm you just helped me be more grateful for how that even happened. I've never been able to accept it that way because I guess that word, I have a song named Tests because I'm very spiritual and aligned with my creator. So it's I can respect God's work onto me. What I will not tolerate is men playing with my life. I never tolerate that. If you play about me, I'm up in it. So it's but if God really got a path and this is just something on that path, then I can forgive myself enough to know all right, I just had to learn something along the path. This ain't you. This ain't about you or me. This is a part of a journey. And like you said, it's a test to see if I really want to carry out this vision. So you said, from 2017 to now, I've been able to create a media platform, attain skills I would have never even thought I was going to attain, meet people that and talk and express myself. So it's I gotta thank you for flaking me. I gotta thank you for real, because who would I have been if I would have just been totally tapped into that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or how long would it have taken me to get here? And like you said, it was 100% due to the fact that they had their own shit going on. It wasn't fuck me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Part of it probably was fuck with me.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, and then we actually had a conversation and they told me it was a little bit of fuck me. But, you know what I mean?
See, I wish we would have had the conversation because me and the girl.
So that's my man still. So I still rock with him, but it's you just got to create certain space away from certain shit. But you said, they stole your shit.
And see, even I could have had a conversation with homegirl, but she was just going through a whole destructive path where no matter what I told her, she was just convinced what she was convinced on. And sometimes it's like that. You gotta just let people be.
So it's
your plan got a plan, but God's plan got a plan. So maybe that was part of the whole plan to say, hey, we're gonna start you here, we're gonna test you here, we're gonna make sure that you overcome here, but yet still make sure that you're doing what you do. So the plan can still be a plan.
And so you talked about your other creative disciplines because we talked a little bit about modeling and then we just introduced the camera fiasco, right? So how did you end up getting behind the camera when you initially started in front of it?
Okay, so I've always been interested in film. My grandma was big on giving me those disposable cameras when we went on vacation, when we went to summer camp. It was more here's your camera, here's some paper to write back home, here's some envelopes. You know, I was big into the cute stationery. Yeah, so I was big on documenting my experience. And when I got to college, I started taking film and directing. And at one point, we were able to rent cameras and learn how to direct and shoot. And I fell in love with it. At first, I really wanted to be a director. I wanted to be on some Steven Spielberg, you know, like, it still gives me chills sometimes, you know, watching certain movies and still being a film aficionado. But then actually producing your own film, it made me realize, like, do I really want to do all this editing? You know, like, for 8 hours of film, man, you don't want to do that. Let's just say for 1 minute of film is usually 8 hours of somewhat editing. Yeah. So, you know, if you're doing something with a whole bunch of effects and, you know, Final Cut can make it easy, but it could just be so tedious, especially with audio. And it was something I just ended up stepping back from. But I could do it if I wanted to. So I decided to do something.
If you had a team?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little team.
You know, like if we had a team and, you know, we did a whole screenplay and, you know, we had a goal here. Yeah, I'd be down to do it or to assist somebody, But to do things on me, my own, I'll stick with some phone recording. You know, I'm glad at doing behind the scenes. I'm great at that. So that's really what I've kind of regulated myself on, being more of a photojournalist, finding behind the scenes content, finding more information behind the scenes of what the person is actually portraying. So not just, you know, your, how do I want to say it, your professional self, but more on what drives you and why do you do what you do. Tell me your why. And then, you know, I like the fact that you can tell any sort of story with a great photograph.
Yo, you kind of just helped me realize something about myself, because I started off I'm a music artist, and I started off really wanting to be a beat maker.
Okay.
Like I got my mans to let download it on my computer. I had started, but then it was like so tedious. I didn't know that. I thought my ear and my love and passion for the music was just gonna pour into the computer, and I was just making sounds. Yeah. But it was like, nah, this is very tedious and boring. It's like move a block, move a stem, upload a file. It's so boring, and I didn't know that. So then once I got into it, I was like, wow, this is boring and tedious and hard. So I got away with it. I found someone who I respected with the production, and then I just stuck with them. But then even when I got introduced to film, or not film, using a camera, because I had that same thing that you just mentioned where it was like, I'm not trying to do the audio and do the color grading and do and this and that. So I started realizing, you just helped me realize, like, I think I am more on that side of what the behind the scenes and the writing and the journalism behind it, because I'd rather know and display the things that are captured more consistent throughout this session or the project or the experience than have to like put my whole career on the line, like you said, because of one element that required a lot of my effort. Right. And then if that one element doesn't come out completely accurate, then I lose everything. I don't like that feeling. Like, that's why what we just did, like my camera cut off, I don't fucking care. I'll turn it back on, pick up where I left off, and it still holds contextual value, because we're building for an hour about who you are. Right. If fucking 18 seconds of it doesn't correlate, it's like that doesn't ruin the whole piece now. Right. Versus versus if you do that with, you know, a beat, if that thing transitions the wrong way, people are gonna listen to that genre and be like, what the fuck is going on here? So it's like it's just a different impact, and it goes into another different conversation. But you just helped me realize, like, I think that was, and I guess I never used to want to share that, because
it makes you feel kind of less than if you're like, I don't want to do the technical work.
Yeah, like, I don't mind, but there's other work to do. But there's other work to do though, right? So it's like, I don't want to do the technical work. All right, fuck it. Look at me however you want to look at me, because I am very empowered by the work that I do, though. I value the work that I do. So, all right, nigga, don't know. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But I used to always, I think that's what made me insecure about it, because I didn't claim and own what I was just empowered and passionate about, which
Right.
is what you just mentioned. Like, I want to know the why. I want to know how, and I want to talk to you and understand the inspiration behind it. And shit, who's that person over there at the water cooler? Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck they ain't saying nothing? Like, I'm trying to get into that bag. So I appreciate you even, sharing that, because this is revolution for me as well right now. So
I think it's important to kind of say what develops you as an artist. Because a lot of times people just think that you're interested in just this one thing and you just ran with it. But a lot of what we do is self-discovery. Like, you didn't just decide, yeah, I wanted to be a videographer. You watched movies or you watched somebody else do it first and was like, ooh, I like what they do, so I want to do that. So I think it's a whole bunch of, being interested and then fueling what your interest is, but then finding the right way to go about it. Because just like they say, there's not just one way to paint a painting. So I think with the arts, since there's so much, flexibility on how to do things, it's now just finding what works best for you. And I think what works best for me is just being able to be that fly on the wall. Because I don't like to disrupt people too much. But I will, my photography persona is almost the complete opposite of my modeling persona.
right.
Because, funny thing is, I don't particularly like taking photos of models. But I will take photos of other creative individuals.
Treason.
I like when you got something to say. I like when you have a story to emote. And not to say that models don't, but
that's not the primary focus, yeah.
It's just a little harder to get it out compared to if we're at an event, I can clearly see what's going on. I can clearly hear your passion. Modeling is more like, I have to see your passion.
Yeah.
I have to know what you're doing. I have to feel it with you too. So if I'm not feeling it too, then it's a little off.
Yeah.
So,
but you kicking doors down right now, because telling the story behind why you want to do what you want to do, right? And you just, like, when you said that, it made me just realize, like, oh shit, I didn't watch movies growing up. That's not where I got this inspiration from.
Really?
Heck no. My sister used to watch movies on my TV because we only had one upstairs TV. I would be pissed. I never would want to watch movies. I wanted to watch my shows. I had cartoons and Pokemon and stuff. I got a life.
Yes.
So it's like she would throw on a movie, but looking back, like now I will watch those movies and I understand Pulp Fiction, The Butterfly Effect. She was watching bangers in there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, now I watch this stuff, but I'm like, oh wait. I didn't like the film part. The reason I started documenting stuff is because I started recognizing people who didn't have a voice, and that connected with me. Ooh. So like, I didn't feel like I could consistently or had the availability to like demonstrate my voice or what I had to say. And then like, I started realizing, I seen it for myself, but I'm like, I ain't got shit to talk about. So I didn't start with me. So I started with other people. And then what you just said, it started to resonate as well, where it was like, you're not even saying shit. You're not even saying anything. I have to say it audibly, y'all listening. You're not even saying nothing, right? So then it made me realize, like, I would have said this, I would have did this. So that's where I started documenting myself as well. And then that became like, okay, I see where I might be more natural with this because I'm in tune with myself. I've developed some things, had some guidance here and there, some experience, blah, blah, blah. But I still want to get people here, though.
Right.
I want to get people here. Like, I know how to talk about my stuff, but you don't. And so whether you do or don't, so it's like tiered out. It's like, if you know how to communicate and tell your story, well, boom, we here, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't know how, all right, I'm gonna put you on. And then if you literally don't know your story, that's what this still is for, because we about to distinguish it here today. So, like you mentioned, you a model, and that was the part that intrigued me about who you were, because I'm like, I've never done any model exhibitions. I've never really even worked in that direction. Like, the closest I've ever been to the modeling career or industry is like, I used to have a commercial space. Mm-hmm. And so if people want to rent the venue, do whatever you want to do at that point. So then I might just see something like that going on. So what got you introduced into modeling, and to add something just for my personal interest, right? Like, when you a model out here, people automatically right at you, right? So it's like, You know what I mean? You gotta tell me how that lifestyle is when it's like, you know what I mean? People right at you and you a model, so they coming too, you heard?
Yeah, so originally I wanted to model when I was in grade school. I had a couple of friends, we'll put it that way. We had some friends who were big into doing the child teen pageants. And so I had some friends, I had some confidence, but I don't know if I really was determined to be up on that stage. My mom was like, nah, we're not doing this. Okay. So I just started to stick to the other parts of like my artistry. So I was in the school band, I was in tap dancing, I was in color guard, so I was always into being part of the arts. And fast forward to right before I started college, I started getting back into the arts behind the scenes. So I used to set up events, and at one point, we used to assist models.
Okay.
We wanted to get some photos published. We wanted to work with some different entities like small businesses that were looking for promotional models, and we started working with them behind the scenes. And once I started doing the prop setups and, you know, decorating the whole room, I was like, I could do this. You know, I saw some of the talent that we were bringing in, and I saw that it's really a team effort in creating the image that you see. So if I'm like, she doesn't just do this on her own, she has a team, let me do that. Right. And so fortunately, the people who I was working with that were my event internships, they actually were interested in supporting me. So we did some test shots, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I was like, I seen that. It's like, okay.
The rest is history, man. I mean, a lot of times people think that you have to be the best looking model to make it successfully. And honestly, you don't have to be. Especially now, there's so many ordinary people that's being called as models or influencers. And honestly, when it comes to advertising, people want to see people that look like them. So that's why we're all in demand. Before it was just the very shiny image, the very, you know, the white, the very polished, plain Jane, girl next door. Yeah. Then it started changing, you know, when Tyra and Naomi was on.
Well, I used to watch America's Next Top Model with my pops. We used to be two men in that joint watching that. That used to be lit.
See, I love that, because not enough men will say, yeah, I watched that.
We was in that joint like, she's gonna win, Dad, I knew it. I was in that joint hype. So I'm happy you mentioned that.
Yeah, so
it changed the game. It really did.
The game, because we got to see behind the scenes what it really is all about. Yes. Not just the photos, not just what you see on the runway, but how you prepare and, you know, the struggles that some of these models have to go through. And honestly, that's the light version, because they all was in a model house. So
right. He was really pretty much right there.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, a lot of models these days, they're still working. We still got to make checks. You know, if your agency's not paying you, you got to make a check. Okay, so even let me run it back a little bit, because models usually do not govern themselves. A lot of times, yes. Okay. A lot of times models are with agencies and agency entities. So I say agency entities to say that they may not necessarily be a full-blown model agency, but they may be like a model development agency or a talent agency, which may focus on acting and commercials and voiceovers. So there's different.
That's a form of modeling. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so I mean, it all falls into modeling, acting, the arts. You just have to pretty much be adamant about your niche. Basically, what do you choose to do a lot? So my niche is predominantly runway and promotional. So if you see models at a festival trying to give away a car, trying to give away Cokes, you know, that's what we do. That's what I enjoy doing. I love bringing smiles on people's faces. And
you got me, goddamn.
Yes, and I mean, it's kind of the same when I see people in person, because you always want to be the good vibes. And I feel like that's what attracts people to me the most. Half the time, I don't even have to be all the way done up. I've gotten hollered at in the library. I've gotten hollered at in the laundromat, in the bodega. Yeah. You know, half the times I've had sweatpants and haven't even been fully up to par. And then sometimes they just see it right away. Like on the way here today, like an older gentleman stopped me when I was downstairs in the mall, and he was just like, I need to have your number. And I'm just like,
I need
Oh, you
it.
do, huh?
Right, I need it.
I'm flattered, thank you, you know, I'm taken. And he's just like, I don't care.
No. Is that how that goes? I don't even care. Damn.
Yeah, something. Man, the heart wants what the heart wants.
That's what I heard, right.
That's so they say.
I got two sisters, so like, I've been in the home with women, growing up with them. I'm the youngest brother, so like I think I inherited early what the unfiltered no of a woman was like. Mm-hmm. So like by the time I was older, I never do what you just said. I don't ask girls for their number in public. Like, I definitely know. I mean, I communicate and do whatever I gotta do, but like, I guess just seeing my sisters all the time, it made me realize like, girls aren't always nice. And like, you know what I'm saying?
Even when you are being nice, it's still kind of like...
still turn up on you a little bit, yeah. So like, I always just kind of... So I love to hear stories about gentlemen who got that in them to get knocked, you know what I mean? It's like, shouts out to y'all.
Y'all ballsy.
Yeah, y'all got that.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I got that. So I guess the thing that I wanted to... And you know, shouts out, what's the bull name who used to be on America Top Model? Jeffrey? And that wasn't his name?
You talking about Miss J?
Yeah, oh, Miss J. Okay, got you. Shouts out to Miss J. That nigga was the littest, right? That nigga was the littest one, bro.
And that's the key factor. Sometimes when you ain't got all your makeup done, when you ain't got all this wardrobe on, you ain't even got no shoes on.
He used to come out there and fuck it up. He used to come out there and fuck it up. That's crazy.
Yo, the turn on, turn off factor is what makes...
Yeah, so you got me excited because it's like you making me just like, that was very nostalgic. I'm about to have to go home and YouTube that joint tonight.
Real.
So, okay, all
I'll
right.
tell you how it's done.
So, all right, let me clip it one more time because, yeah. I know it's 8 minutes. Right.
With just my older brother and my little brother, just on that type of time, like, you think you really here finessing me? So it's like, what's the point of doing all of this if you hurting the people that you trying to finesse, but you love them?
Yeah.
Like,
no, you just said it because that was an amazing way to introduce this conversation because once I had actually seen, like, when my pops told me about to not have dishonorable acts, I was probably like 7 or 8. I was in 3rd grade-ish. Okay. So like by the time I was 17, 10 years later, I was like stealing this man's car. And I was bringing narcotics in his house. I'm not looking at it what I'm doing to him. I'm looking at it like how I'm liberating and expressing and getting to know myself. But then there was this one time I took his car and he woke up and knew I took his car. And then I came in and like I seen how hurt he was though, because he had said to me, he was like, damn, my nigga, I be really rocking for you. Like, you gonna steal my whip? Like, I only got one car. If you mess up the car, I can't go to work. If I can't go to work, we gonna lose our house. Like, are you even thinking about this stuff? I'm like, no. I'm like, I just wanted to hang out with my friends. Right, so it's like, you just said it though, when you see that the finessing is hurting the people around you, that's one thing, but then I had to realize like, oh shoot, this is all I know. I've been practicing this so long, I don't even know how to honor and respect the people that I love, right? And so I had to re-establish that empathy and sentiment and consideration and care and just more higher vibrational efforts, because you could want to do the right by the right person, but it's like shooting a basketball. Like if you don't know how to practice doing that and have a routine of it, you're not going to be good at it. You're going to try to consider someone, then when they start showing you where the levels of consideration that they require, you'll get frustrated or tired or upset because you're like, oh God, I'm not trying to do all of this about this person. What the fuck? Yeah. If you practice it more, you have more to give. So can you talk about like a time where you had to recognize like a characteristic about yourself, something that's intangible, like an emotion or like a psychological thing that you know you needed to work on, and then like what the journey was working on that? And then afterwards, I'll have you introduce yourself.
Oh gosh, if you want to get deeper than rap on that. So, I'm a single mother. I was a teen mother. Okay. So, I had my son 2 weeks before my 15th birthday. So technically we're 15 years apart. Okay. And it was definitely a moment of coming to my own and also like the hierarchy of everything. So, you know, when you're at home, you know, it's you got your parents, you may have your siblings, you know, everybody has a place. But then when you basically become a parent and you're still within that hierarchy of your parents, your siblings, yourself, then it's kind of like, okay, now you have somebody under you. And definitely as a teen mom, you know, it's a little different because you're an adult, but you're technically not an adult.
Okay.
So with that, I was in charge of my son, but yet I had to constantly fight my parents because they were still trying to be governing over me.
Yeah, your authority figure, right.
And not really respecting my authority. Because this was a new becoming of myself that they wasn't even used to.
Yeah.
You know, and even me, like, it took forever to assert my voice. And even now, you know, almost 15 years later, like, my son is 15, basically. And it's a whole journey in asserting your voice again, because it's one thing when you're in that hierarchy at home and you have to basically advocate for yourself, but still have respect for other people, which are your parents. So now it's like, I definitely have that full-fledged, you know, persona of myself, and now my son is coming into himself, and now the hierarchy has changed a bit. But I say this all to say that it's a lot of deciding when you have to really sit there and decide, all right, am I going to be how they know me, or am I going to rebuild myself and actually, like, create yourself? And it took a while for the adults in my life to really understand that, because they were so used to seeing this little girl or somebody that they felt in this one part of their life. And then now, you know, I'm 31, I moved to a whole nother city, you know, contesting relationships with your people. It's something that always has to be a moving factor, because you are always changing. I'm not the same person that you knew last week. You know, you're not the same person.
I'm learning something about you now. So you are technically, you're not. I didn't know you was a mom until you said it out there. So, like, you are a different person now. You are right,
And it just takes a lot, you know, to really just get that order within yourself and actually, like, say, this is who I want to be, and this is how you need to respect me as. And these are the things that I want to stand on, and these are the things that I can permit.
We came in hot, so go ahead, introduce yourself, you know what I mean? Y'all know how I do. I like to get right into the mix, but I know y'all meeting somebody new today, you dig, so I want to give y'all the opportunity to be acquainted. So go ahead.
Yes, hey, my name is Alana Rosa. I am a model photo. I am based in Philly. I'm originally from New York, and I'm here kicking it with TJ at Rec Philly. We got to know each other through a little networking session, and I'm here for great energy and good conversation, so we here to continue that. And it might get deeper than rap, and I might lose a thought here or two, but we're going to get it back.
The dots, right.
Yes.
All right, so I like to clip my videos, because as you've seen me out there, I'm straight, right? So, okay, so you talked about New York, right? And like, I'm gonna be frank with you, right? I was talking about you the other day.
Oh, you were talking about me?
Yeah.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah. I was like, I met this girl at Rec Philly, and she said she's from New York, and I heard her say that Philly wasn't that bad because of, like, the living expenses and stuff. And I'm like, that makes sense, because when you coming from New York, that shit probably mad expensive. So, like, that stuck with me, that you were, like, talking about how, you know, Philly has been a good transition for you. I wouldn't even want to throw the word get up there. That's why I hesitated. It has been a transition for you. So could you talk more about your experiences transitioning from New York to Philadelphia, and, you know what I mean, anything that I want to know what could fulfill, like, my idea of what I just mentioned, right? Like, is it the pricing? Is it the lifestyle? Is it what are the qualities that, you know what I mean, I guess I don't want to just say enjoy, like, what are the qualities that you have experienced from being here versus being in New York?
Okay. All right. So, I left New York in...
Everyone I know, all of our lives started in this time. I'm
2017,
God
yes.
Damn, I came here in 2017 too.
Yeah, I started traveling to Philly maybe 2016.
Right.
Yeah, I started coming out here for fashion shows. And it may sound a little backwards, but we were doing the whole casting runs, me and a couple of friends, and there was an opportunity for Philly Small Business Fashion Week. So they came to New York, and we just kind of went on a whim. Hey, let's see if we can get in. Got in. And then the next thing was like, okay, how are we going to get to Philly? I was just ambitious enough, like, we going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So my friends were just like, I don't know. And so they got left in New York, and me and one other friend made it out here.
Right.
And I just started making connections, and I met a couple of good friends, one in particular named Lady, Jill of all trades. And, you know, we just hit it off. So when you have people with good energy, that makes you want to come out more. Yeah. And as long as they can understand that reciprocity, it's an even exchange. So I used to come and visit her, and then I would meet other people and start coming out here. What made me completely move is just the unaffordability of New York City.
Yeah, okay, so I remember you mentioned that. I didn't want to, like, highlight that as the point, but you like,
I mean, that was, like, the main factor. The other factors were definitely becoming a complete night owl. I would go to sleep at like 1, 2 a.m. every night.
Oh, okay.
You know, partially because I'm on the grind, and then partially because you're a night owl and my creativity goes haywire at sometimes 11 or 12 at night. And then other times I would just be out here grinding to make things happen. And then, you know, I would go to work. Then I would get off work, and I would have my shoes in my bag. I'd have an outfit in the bag, and I would be in different club, a different venue, you know, going to model mixers, networking events, getting my name out there. And things just got a little hectic mentally as well. Sometimes when you're in a place that never sleeps, literally the city that never sleeps, you can't get no sleep.
Yeah.
So it just takes a bigger toll on you. And after a while I said, you know what? Life can be better somewhere else. Let me try to travel. Let me try different places. I can always come back.
That part.
So, fast forward 5 years later, I've been coming back and forth to NYC almost every other week. And sometimes it's very tiring. And then sometimes I love it. So, Philly has become like a little version, but I don't want to say a little version because New York's their own version. Philly is their own version. Right. You know, these joints don't got nothing on my sons.
I love that. I love that.
Man, my sons get it in though. My sons from the X get it in.
You heard?
I love where I'm from, but honestly, there's time for change. There's time for adventures. When I got here in 2017, things were a bit behind, just kind of culturally. I have credentials like my bachelor's, and I worked, you know, a very good 9 to 5. But when it came for me finding a job here, I had to start from the beginning, and I had to work in a sandwich shop, ice cream shop. Nobody would hire me. It was very weird.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
I feel like people were kind of resistant to the whole New Yorkers coming here thing. You know, people would rather hire their own local talent than necessarily hire somebody from out New York. They're like, what you doing here?
Right.
And they're like, oh, you're too advanced.
I was about to say you had them shook. I was just about to say that. Yeah, so you probably had them shook a little bit. Like New York?
Yeah, and then this whole $7.25 minimum wage, that's just for the birds, bro.
Yo, when I got here and I'm like, bro, $7, like, I'm supposed to do with that?
Basically.
You know what I'm saying?
So it was a little hard getting my foot in the door, but you know, hustler gonna make it always happen.
You feel me?
So, you know, through the grace of God, I made it through. Through the grace of having a couple of family members that was willing to help me out in times of need. Yeah. You know, when I had roommates that were the best and the worst, you know. I had people that, you know, they played with me. One of my roommates stole my camera, my TV, my lenses. Yo, the drama was crazy.
But I just want to say something about that real quick, because it's like, once again, I was talking to you a little bit about some of the ethics that were established in my life early, and it's like, when my dad said, he said, so you gonna crash the car so we can't provide for the home? And it's like, damn, you don't want me to provide for my home. You just took my camera and I don't hold my work. Like, so I why I ended up getting into the camera and the visual aspect of it was because there's the emotion that you can get from it. A lot of times, like one of these people that I know, they'll be like, yo, do you have to watch the interview? And I'm like, yo, you can see people's facial expressions, you can see their demeanors, you can see the inflections. Those things tell us, you said it, they tell a story. So like a picture tells 1,000 words, if videos are nothing but multiple frames of pictures, essentially, then we telling millions. Literally, like every word, every inflection, every hand movement, it just, those things tell a story for me as well. And like I told this story to one of my friends yesterday. And funny enough, you a model, so you might laugh, right? Because I'll take pictures of people candidly, and I'll always get messages from women that be like, so you know you're gonna need to take that down, right? Because you got me out here looking like the fuck is going on. And in my mind, I'm like I mentioned earlier, it's like, I guess it's some type of fake maternal thing I got going on where it's like, but this moment is so precious. It was when you were this. And it was like, I be thinking that Joan is fly. I'm like, you was in your element, queen. And she like, nah, dog, you gotta take that down. So it's like, I've recognized that like, this is inspiration for me. Like you just helped me understand that. It's like, damn, this is like my voice, the other people's voice, like this whole journey. Like that's why I asked you, I was like, would you need a team? Because that's what I started thinking. I was like, I would love to do a film, but I don't want to do all that stuff you mentioning either. Like I resonate with that. So it's like, yeah, thank you.
I think that's one of the biggest things we create on our own, and it's hard for us to find a team that exactly like mirrors us or can contribute the same way. You know, like when we do look out for a team, we don't get all the pieces that we need for the team. Yeah. So then we're kind of like, I don't want to do this no more. Or, you know, they didn't really get what we needed from them. So we sit there and it's like, okay, well, we got this. So I can kind of finesse maybe whatever I didn't get. And then people are not as dedicated as you needed them to. So that was the killer for me. Like, I was ready to go full steam. I actually had a magazine as well, and I was delegating tasks out because that's what people wanted. And I was giving people time, like 2 and 3 months, because I didn't need it right away. Yeah. And I was still, you know, checking in, hey, you know, we got this article, this and that. And it was just kind of awkward the way it was just like 2 weeks before we needed stuff due, I'm checking in, and it's just like, yeah, I didn't do it. Yeah, I don't have any plans on doing it. So then I could have done it on my own. Why'd you sign up? Yeah, why'd you sign up? So like, part of me is like, I want to have a team, but I'm hesitant. But I know I need the team because every good project needs a team effort. It's not just a one-person band.
You wanted to grow. I mean, if you like what you're getting on your dolo, then
I mean, sometimes you can get it on your own.
Yeah, if you like what you getting, shit.
But honestly, things can always be better when there's another set of eyes, or you know, somebody else that you can kind of bounce ideas off. Hey, I have this thought. Let me know what it thinks. And you know, if it's not something that makes sense, but you thought it made sense,
right?
You're gonna go full steam.
Oh my gosh, I go through that all the time.
And then you're gonna realize, like, damn, this could have been, but I can see what she's talking about.
I'm starting to write stuff down because of what you just said, because as a visionary, I see it in my mind so crystal clear. And then when I explain it to people, I watch the gloss just go right over their eyeballs. Like, what the fuck is this bull talking about? But I don't know where I lost you. And if you're not communicating what you don't know, right, then we just in a pool of confusion. So I'm learning, like, writing things down. I never used to do this, but I'm starting to understand the power of, if you can write it, then other people can recite it. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, now I just write stuff for the fact that I know I want to be a leader. So I have to write things so that people can interpret them for themselves, and then they can form their questions the way that people just, that's the pattern of behavior that we all are accustomed to. Like, we look at things that are written, and then something in our mind begins to formulate that visual element that I kind of have instinctively. Right. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you mentioning that teams don't always work, because if I start talking about a bunch of stuff that will require even a prerequisite to read. Like there's some job applications I look at and I'll get like halfway into it and I'll be like, well, I don't even know what you're talking about, so I clearly can't do the job. Like, I don't know what program this is, what the software you're talking about. I don't know even what you're talking about, so the job can't be for me. And so I wouldn't sign that. So let's get into two of my last segments before we get out of here today, right?
All right.
So I like to give people things like, everybody do their little Instagram reels, right? But I see a lot of corny Instagram reels, like, where it's like, how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, so it's like, I want to hit them real hard with something about modeling. I've never seen modeling tips. You probably on a different algorithm than me, right? You probably see this shit all day. So let's tell the people a part of TJ's algorithm, what are a few things that they need to know when they want to start becoming a model, and then with the experience you have, right? So I'll cut this in half. I'll ask my second question after you do that.
Okay. So the first question.
How do you start being a model? How
to start being a model. 3 tips? 3 tips?
As many as you want, as little as you want. If you only get one, y'all only get one. But as many as are organic for you to demonstrate. Yeah.
Well, I would say you first have to be confident. You have to advocate for yourself and be 3 tips in order to be a model.
All right, so I'm gonna need. So why?
Ooh, why confidence? It's like putting your best foot forward. If you don't put your best foot forward, then people are gonna smell you. Like it's like sharks, blood in the water.
It shit reminded me of jail when you just said it. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, they know you pussy in that jail, boy. That's it.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, like you can tell the difference between people who are not confident because they're not willing to look you in the eye. They're not willing to hold a conversation any in depth. And if they do, they're constantly fidgeting. Not in the same sense where we're talking, because that's more of Italiano. You feel me?
Yeah, bonics. You heard? Yeah.
But there's a difference between those who are always fidgeting and need something or need gum, or there are people who do that a lot. And then the last tip that I had mentioned, being open-minded, is a lot of people are very closed-minded to what they want or do not know. So they're either too open-minded or they're too closed-minded. Yeah. So I think being able to accept ideas and then be able to build upon them or destruct them, I think that's part of the whole open-minded thing. Because if you're not open-minded to ideas, whether your ideas are too big or too small, then you won't really be able to grow because you'll be stagnant on just that one idea.
Okay, and so once you become a model, you've been in the game for a couple years. How do you elevate?
Networking. Your network is your net worth.
All right.
Your network is your net worth. And, I ain't got a whole bunch of money in my pocket, but I know some people who I can call if I need to.
Right. I know some people who do.
Like, I've rubbed shoulders with some of, who's who. And it's satisfying in a sense because once you get into those doors, then, people see your work ethic and they either want to put you on more or you got to fight more to get through the door.
And I also looked at your profile. You do like promotional work and like affiliate marketing.
Yes. Yeah,
so tell them a little bit about that because I know people, they ain't getting no money about these products, but they using them though.
Yeah. So when it comes to brand promotions and affiliate
and get you some affiliate marketing off right here. I'm gonna send you this clip wise, so pop it off. You feel me?
All right. So when it comes to affiliate marketing, I'm always looking to work with good brands. So if you need a reliable brand promotional model, come holler at me. A reliable brand promotional model would be somebody who promotes the items, who is very honest about what they do, who is open to spreading the word and is not shy about promoting what they do. And they're also open to being content creators. So not only do you do what they tell you to do, but you create your own.
You have some direction.
Yeah. So I think having, open mind and, creativity, that's going back to the first, tips. That will be very successful when it comes to brand promotions and affiliate marketing because they'll want to pay you if your content is great. So, I don't always have it on point, but at least I get eyes on the product. And I think that's what they look for the best. Eyes on the product and, you know, engaging content that is informative and can garner some sales.
Yeah. So, like, do you have to reach out to them or do you just start? Because I've heard both those, right? That's probably the answer, both.
It is both.
Okay.
I would say it's easier to start with the things that
just
you like.
Just start. Yeah, just do it. Don't just
that's
be
really
sending
what
emails.
Affiliate marketing and like brand promotion, that's really where it starts. You know,
if I like this mic, just...
Oh, yeah. Okay. People promote what they like.
Yeah.
People promote who they like, usually.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to actually putting out brands, you just have to do something that they're not used to. So, for example, I'm wearing 7 Lucky, based in Philly, and one thing that's cool about her outfits and what drove me to them, besides some celebrities that were wearing the outfits, the brand owner, Ty, she was also very nice, very cordial, very open to meeting you where you need it, and very open to different products. So I had an item that I wanted, but I was too slow. So by the time I wanted it, it was sold out. So she hooked me up with something else that was kind of fly. And, you know, I brought this oldie but goodie out the closet, and I still got some responses to this day. So,
and you about to get some more right now. You on tease, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, you know, the key is being passionate about what you like and being honest with what you like too, because most affiliate marketing doesn't work if you're not hype about your product.
Okay. So that's like a asterisk.
Yeah, I mean, people
you just
can
sound mad
not,
boring. It's like
people can smell you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess we'll leave with this sentiment that I came across. Like, the reason I asked that was because, you know, I affiliate market some digital products like email marketing and like AI tools and stuff like that. But one thing I was realizing was, like what you said, I pretty much just share the link, right? But I don't focus on creating the content around the actual product, as well as a lot of the times, if not 60 to 80% of the time, I'm using the product, but I need to be creative, like you said, about how I incorporate navigating people to it by seeing what I'm using it for. Right? So that's like, and when I heard you say, I was like, well, don't they got a creative director in-house for that? But they're like, well, but it's like, nigga, if I can get it for you for $500, then that's the plan. So as I get it, it's an equal exchange where it's like, if you come up with something fly, then I'm gonna hit you back up. But if you just do something that's just generic, then you on your own, essentially, right?
Yep. And I mean, that concept gets bigger and bigger as the brands, you know, you work with get bigger and bigger, honestly. Like, one of the goals that I want to do is I want to travel. So I want to be able to go to hotels. I want to be able to go to different events that are happening in whatever city I'm in and actually promote it, kind of like tourist in your city kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I particularly like to enjoy that because I'm always honest about my stay and things that I want to do. So even if plans change, I'm fine with that. But I will let people know, like, hey, we want to go to this festival, but it started raining, so we're going to spend some time in the bar that's in the hotel. Yeah. And we make it work.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm going to have you...
being able to finesse the finesses.
Nah, real rap, because that's what I just said. It's like, if you're not aware of what the value of that promotion or your platform is, they'll just slide you a little $40, a little $100 and be like, you want to make another one? Yeah. And if you don't know that on the, like you said, on the back end, maybe you brought in a whole slew of people to that bar. It's like, you just got to know your value with that. So that's what you just
I'm still learning, man. Like, I take classes, you know, that's also education is important. You know, you don't just get this out of thin air.
You studied.
Because other than that, you just going to keep on repeating the same mistakes.
Somebody at home literally thought, like, was saying this. It's like, bitch, how'd you learn all of this? Like, so it's like, you said you had to do some studies too.
Yeah, you had to study. You know, pandemic was great for that. I have a whole book of stuff that I learned during the pandemic. And even some of that is outdated even now.
Goodness, right?
It's crazy.
So fast.
But, like, the more you are willing to learn, the better off you are. Sometimes you don't even know that you'll need this content until later on. Like, I have stuff that I wrote in my book, and I haven't even really applied it yet, but I'm glad I knew about it then, so I'm on point now. Even though I may not be using it, I'm aware of it. So it's not like, what's AI? Oh, I knew that thing was coming.
Yeah.
Just in what context did I know it was coming?
Right. I mean, you can't. Wow. That was a gem in its own, because it's like you said. I've had a couple things that I actually spent time doing, and then I was like concerned that, it wouldn't. Well, I wasn't a concern. The result was it did not immediately benefit me, right? But like you said, after a while, it started, like, playing video games prepared me for all of the generated players, and everything about the game is artificial intelligence. Right. So, playing games all the time, I was able to interpret large language models and what's the difference between, pre-programmed or free models. So it's just like, you're right. Like, you just investing in opportunity. And I just equated video games to an education, but we're gonna just
it's levels.
It's levels to this.
It's levels to this.
You feel me? So like, if next time you buy a game, holla at me.
But think about it. I mean, I know a while ago you were seeing those ads. Play video games and get paid for them and things like that. So
and I was like, what the fuck was I been doing?
Exactly. You like on game. Like, if you want to pay me, and then
I was late, and they started esporting. I had a job, started making content. I missed the wave, but I'm coming, right? I will be at the E-Game Sports Awards. Don't you even trip.
In one way or another.
Yeah,
right?
I'm coming though, right? So I'm gonna get you your close-up so that you can, get us up out of here today. But I want to thank everybody who pulled up to watch this when it comes out, because this process for me is like, I just got to rec Philly, and this is somebody that we just literally was standing in a room, and we like, all right, well, we about to just connect, because I don't gotta say too much, but like, the event just started, for lack of me needing to blast everything else, right? But it was a good night, and from that moment, right, I probably have walked in here 2 or 3 times now, and every time we both walk in here, we both like know somebody. They're like, you know her, I know her, we know her, right? So it's like, this was a very fun experience, and I look forward to actually like having another conversation with you in the future if you're down.
Yes, of course, of course. I mean, it seems like there's going to be plenty of stuff that we could talk about. We could be like Snoop and GGN, like we start talking about
anything.
What's the ancient aliens and shit?
Right. Oh, I remember with the white bull. Yo, I didn't remember that shit in a long time.
Yes, I'm here for the culture. I'm here for the podcast. I love like just good people getting together and speaking about these things that we don't even like fully take a time to speak with our own friends.
Right.
Or we might speak about in snippets, but like not really from an analytical part. Like, yo, how does this really affect me?
Yeah.
So I look forward to it. And, your network is your net worth.
Right.
So, I look forward to us networking more. And then, of course, we're going to meet more people that we know. And you see, that makes it even stronger. Because when you know people that know people, and we all good people, it's good vibes. Nothing but good vibes. Good possibilities.
That part.